Hello and welcome. In this class, we will be talking about cerebellum. I am Dr. B.K. Prasad, Professor of Physiology, and our aim is to know about the position of cerebellum, physiological anatomy, connections, functions, test of functions, and applied physiology. In such way, we will learn about the cerebellum. You know, cerebellum is very complicated structure, and we will try to make it simple and interesting. Then, this nervous system develops from uterus, in which there are three vesicles, primary vesicles. These are forebrain, that is progencephalon, mesencephalon, and glomerulocephalon. Forebrain, progencephalon, midbrain, mesencephalon, and hindbrain, glomerulocephalon. Now, forebrain will develop into, or progencephalon will develop into, telencephalon and diencephalon. Then, mesencephalon will not divide. Mesencephalon, this telencephalon, progencephalon, two parts, telencephalon and diencephalon. Telencephalon will develop into cerebral cortex hemisphere, cerebral hemisphere, diencephalon, upper two-third will develop into thalamus, and lower one-third will develop into hypothalamus. Then midbrain, mesencephalon, midbrain will develop, and hindbrain, glomerulocephalon is divided into two, and mesencephalon that will develop into cerebellum and pons, and mesencephalon from which medulla will develop. Introduction. Cerebellum, in Latin it means little brain. It develops from glomerulocephalon, largest part of the hindbrain. This is also known as silent area because during activity there are less electrical activity. It lies in the occipital fossa or posterior fossa, that is dorsal to the brain stem, midbrain, pons, and medulla. And to each side it is connected to the brain stem by three cerebral peduncles: superior cerebral peduncle, middle cerebral peduncle, and inferior cerebral peduncle. This is this is cerebral cortex, and here it is cerebellum. Midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata are anterior to cerebellum. Again, this is clear structure, colored photo. This is cerebral cortex, frontal lobe, parietal, occipital, and temporal lobe. This is cerebellum, and this part is brainstem. It is colored. Position of cerebellum and parts of cerebellum. This is parts of cerebellum. Surfaces. On its surface, we will see different folds. On the surface, different folds are there. They are known as folia, and deep fissures are there. That is known as fissures. Surfaces is seen as many folia. That is, tissue is folded upon each other. That is folia. It is not very deep, but fissures are deep. Primary fissure, posterolateral, divides cerebellum into flocculonodular lobe and corpus cerebellum, which is divided into anterior and posterior lobe by the horizontal fissure. Posterolateral primary fissure, that is posterolateral, that divides cerebellum into flocculonodular lobe, and corpus cerebellum, which is divided into anterior and posterior lobe by horizontal fissure. Then there is thymus, superior and inferior part. This is the structure. You see, this is hemisphere cerebellum. This is primary fissure. You are seeing the primary fissure. Then anterior lobe, primary fissure, anterior lobe. Then horizontal fissure and posterior fissure. Posterior fissure, flocculonodular lobe is there. This is the structure of folia. Subdivision of cerebellum. Transverse subdivision. Subdivision of cerebellum. Transverse subdivision, transverse cleft or fissure divides the cerebellum into three lobes. This is Larsen's nomenclature. This is Larsen's nomenclature. The lobes are anterior, posterior and flocculonodular lobe. This is transverse subdivision. Then we can divide cerebellum into sagittal subdivision. Two parallel sagittal cuts the cerebellum into three parts: right hemisphere, left hemisphere, and vertex. Vertex is shown here because it resembles a board when convexed to form almost a complete circle. Then phylogenetical division. Folliculogenetical division, archicerebellum, that is most primitive, that is known flocculonodular lobe and lingula. Archicerebellum, flocculonodular lobe and lingula. Then peliocerebellum, anterior lobe plus some parts of the posterior lobe, that is pyramids, uvula and paratrochleus. Then neocerebellum, posterior lobe except pyramid, uvula, paratrochleus. That is, we can divide into three parts. Then vestibulocerebellum, functional division. We can divide it into functional division. Vestibulocerebellum, that is flocculonodular lobe plus vestibular connection is known as vestibulocerebellum. Spinocerebellum, peliocerebellum, it is related functioning in postural reflex, and cerebrocerebellar or neocerebellum part that controls the cerebral function, a smooth performance of skeletal movements. Thus, it is composed of three units of different origin, connections, and functions. Cerebellum is composed of three units of different origin, connection, and function. That is archicerebellum, flocculonodular lobe, lingula, vestibulocerebellar, vestigial nucleus. Then peliocerebellum, anterior lobe plus some part of posterior lobe, and neocerebellum. Cerebellum is developed from three units of different origin. That is archicerebellum, most primitive, then peliocerebellum, that is immediate, and neocerebellum that develops into that is mainly concerned with equilibrium. Then histological structure. Cerebellum cortex, in 3 layers, we divide the cerebellar cortex in 3 layers. All layers are uniform in thickness and structure. Cerebral cortex is composed in 3 layers. All layers are uniform in thickness and structure. Outer molecular, that is outer striate cells, outer molecular layer, interstriate layer, and middle layer. Then outer molecular, outer stellate cells, that is star shaped present in the outer molecule, stellate cells. Then inner stellate cells, that is composed of basket cells. Then middle layer, that is Purkinje cells, glass shaped cells. Inner granule is also known as nuclear layer. These are the This is the histological structure of cerebellum. You see molecular layer, granular layer, granular cell layer, histological structure, molecular layer, there it is, molecular layer, Purkinje cells and granular. Nucleus. Three nucleus are present in the cerebellum. Three nucleus from lateral to medial, that is dentate nucleus, tooth-like appearance and most lateral in the hemisphere. Tooth-like appearance and most lateral in the hemisphere. Then nucleus interpositus, in between dentate and fastigial nucleus. And third is fastigial nucleus. Dentate nucleus, nuclear interpositus and fastigial nucleus. In between dentate and fastigial nucleus, equiliformis nucleus and globus nucleus are present. To make it simple, divided into three nucleus, that is dentate nucleus, tooth-like appearance and most lateral in the hemisphere, then nucleus interpositus and fastigial nucleus. In nucleus interpositus, we will see equiliformis nucleus and globus nucleus. You can say four nucleus, dentate nucleus, equiliformis nucleus, globus nucleus and fastigial nucleus. Nucleus interpositus and fastigial nucleus are present in vermis. This is the same nucleus dentatus. You see the nucleus dentatus, most lateral part. This is detail of that structure. Now cells of molecular layer. The stellate cells, outer star-shaped and superficial in position. The stellate cells are outer star-shaped and superficial in position. Then basket cells, that is inner stellate cells, are deeply located. These cells have few dendrites. Their ions form a basket around the cell body of each Purkinje cells, the inner layer. Therefore, called basket cells. Stellate cells, star-shaped cells, and they are superficial. Basket cells, inner stellate cells, and they are deeply located. These cells have few dendrites, and their axons form a basket around the cell body of each Purkinje cell. They innervate the Purkinje cell, therefore they are known as basket. Cells of molecular layer. Two types of cells, stellate cell and basket cell. Then middle layer. In middle layer, Purkinje cells are present. These Purkinje cells are glass-shaped, biggest neuron in the body. It is the biggest neuron in the body, Purkinje cell. Middle layer is only one cell. It is important for objective question also. Biggest neuron in the body, Purkinje cell. It is only one cell chain. This layer, middle layer is only one cell chain. They are, number of these Purkinje cells are limited, and this is in number. They are inhibitory and neurotransmitter is GABA. These cells are inhibitory in function and neurotransmitter is GABA. You know, I think you may be remembering GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid. They provide very extensive dendrites. They provide very extensive dendrites which goes vertically into the outer molecular layer and provide loose surface area for exodendritic synapse. Axons of Purkinje cells are the only output of cerebral cortex which goes to deep cerebellar nuclei synapse. This is the how the Purkinje cells they go to the dendrite, go to the outer coronal layer, and this is axon which is going. Then cells of granular layer, cells of granular layer. These granular cells, number one, granular cells and Golgi cells. Cells of granular layer, there are two granular cells, small round cells with large nucleus. How you will recognize this granular cell? The small round cells with large nucleus, they are axon, pass into the outer molecular layer and then bifurcate to form a T, and these two branches run parallel along the long axis of the folium and are called parallel fibers. Granular cells, they are small round cells with large nucleus. The axon pass into the outer molecular layer and then bifurcate to form a T. It will go into the granular cell, the inner layer, the axon will pass into the outer molecular layer and then bifurcate to form a T, and its two branches of run parallel along the long axis of folium and therefore called parallel fibers. Golgi cells are large cells and less in number. Their dendrites project outward into the molecular layer. Their axon branch and make inhibitory synaptic connection with dendrites of granular cells. Granular cells and Golgi cells, they are present in the granular layer, inner layer, granular layer. How you will recognize granular cells? A small round with large nucleus, and Golgi cells, large cells, and they are less in number. This is the connection of cells. There are three cerebellar peduncles. Superior cerebral peduncle to midbrain. It is medial, superficial. It is medial and superficial. Superior cerebellar peduncles. This is also known as brachium conjunctiva to midbrain. You connect cerebellum with midbrain. Then medial cerebellar peduncle. It is also known as brachium pontis to pons. Connect to the cerebellum with pons and you get larger, thicker. Inferior cerebellar peduncle, restiform body to the medulla, medial to the medial cerebellar peduncle. These are three cerebellar peduncles: superior cerebellar peduncle, medial cerebellar peduncle, and inferior cerebellar peduncle. Connections of brain stem. This is cerebellum, pons, midbrain, pons, and medulla. Now, superior cerebral peduncle may have ventral spinocerebellar tract, ventral spinocerebellar tract of Bowers, then tactocerebellar tract from superior and inferior colliculum, then oligocerebellar fibers from inferior olivular nucleus. Superior cerebellar peduncle have ventral spinocerebellar tract of Bowers, then tactocerebellar tract from superior and inferior colliculi, and oligocerebellar fibers from inferior oligonucleus. Different from dentate nucleus, they cassette in midbrain and end in red nucleus and oculomotor nucleus of opposite side. This is superior cerebral peduncle, and different from dentate, afferent and efferent fibers are present in superior cerebral peduncle. That is different from dentate nucleus, the cassette in midbrain and end in red nucleus and oculomotor nucleus of opposite side. Then middle cerebral peduncle, pontocerebellar fibers are there from pontine nucleus to cerebral hemisphere of opposite side. Pontocerebellar fibers from pontine nucleus to cerebral hemisphere of opposite side. And different are from deep nucleus in Purkinje cell, pass to pons and medulla of the opposite side. That is afferent, pontocerebellar fibers are afferent, and efferent are deep nucleus and Purkinje cell, pass to pons and medulla of opposite side. Inferior cerebral peduncle that is dorso-spinocerebellar tract, then vestibulocerebellar tract and reticulocerebellar tract, cuneo-cerebellar tract, and fibers from sensory cranial nerves. Inferior cerebral peduncle, dorsal spinocerebellar tract of placing that carry unconscious kinesthetic joint movement and cutaneous absence from trunk and leg of same side. Unconscious kinesthetic movement, joint movements and cutaneous absence from trunk and leg of same side. Vestibulocerebellar tract, from vestibular nucleus to the folliculonodular lobe of opposite sex. Vestibulocerebellar tract, from vestibular nucleus to the folliculonodular lobe of opposite sex. Then reticulocerebellar tract, from median reticular nucleus to whole cerebral cortex. Then cuneo-cerebellar tract, from nucleus, gracilis and cuneatus to anterior and posterior lobe of cerebellar cortex. Proprioceptive impulses from arm and neck. Then fibers from sensory cranial nerve comes to the higher inferior cerebral cortex. Efferents are fibers from fastigial nucleus to lateral nucleus and cranial nerve. Cerebellum is just connected with the spinal cord of same side and cerebral cortex of opposite side. Cerebellum is connected with the spinal cord of same side and cerebral cortex of opposite side. So, lesions of cerebellar hemisphere causes motor signs on the same side. It is cerebellar syndrome due to crossing of fibers at pontocerebral pathway, crossing of fibers in superior cerebral peduncle and crossing of fibers in pyramidal tract. Cerebellum is connected with spinal cord of same side and cerebral cortex of opposite side. So, region of cerebellar hemisphere causes motor signs of same side, that is cerebellar peduncle. This is due to crossing of fiber at pontocerebral pathway, medial cerebral peduncle, crossing of fibers, superior cerebral peduncle, and crossing of fibers in the introduction of dentatothalamic pathway before the decussate causes ipsilateral sign in lesion after decussation causes contralateral sign. Introduction of the dentatothalamic, dentate nucleus to thalamic nucleus pathway before the decussate causes ipsilateral sign in lesion after decussation causes contralateral sign. This is the presentation of how they lost the midline. This is midline. Cerebral neurons and their processes have definite spatial orientation to plane of Golgi. Dendrites of Purkinje, spinate and Golgi neurons are in a plane across the long axis of the folium and enter into molecular layer. Dendrites of Purkinje, spinate and Golgi neurons are in a plane across the long axis of the folium and enter into molecular layer. The glands of the granule neurons ascend into the molecular layer and bifurcate T into T and run parallel to each other and to the long axis of the long axis of the folium. These are known as parallel fibers, which run across the dendrites of Purkinje, spinate and Golgi cells and spinate. Axons of basket cells run at right angle or tangential to the contour of the folia. They are known as tangential fibers or basket around the Purkinje fiber. Two types of fibers we will see: parallel fibers and tangential fibers. Parallel fibers are from the granule neurons as molecular layer, neurons of molecular layer, and tangential cells are neurons of basket cells. Localization of sensory impulses. Point-to-point representation of sensory impulses from the whole body is important. Two sensory areas, anterior area and posterior area. In anterior lobe and locus simplex, body representation is ipsilateral and inverted. Ipsilateral, that is of same side, and inverted. Axial body surface is represented medially and extremities laterally. Then posterior area is in paramedial lobe. Body representation is less defined, direct and bilateral. Anterior area and posterior area. This is a picture showing representation. Projection, that is same thing. Connections. Interfoliar bundle fibers connect neurons. Intrafoliar transfoliar tangential fibers anterior and posterior branch, and afferents to cerebral cortex from climbing and mossy fibers, both are accessible. All afferents convert to Purkinje cells, and axon of Purkinje cells go deep to the cerebral nuclei, which is innervated. From cerebral nuclei, different fibers go to the brain stem segment, which is excited. Connections, interfoliar, intrafoliar. Bundle fibers from connect neurons, intrafoliar, transfoliar tangential fibers, anterior and posterior brain, and afferent to cerebral cortex from climbing and mossy fibers. Different connections, dentato-rubro-thalamo-cortical fiber, cerebello-thalamo-cortical, cerebello-reticular, cerebrovascular, and cerebrospinal. Sensory inputs, climbing fibers from inferior olivary nucleus through olivocerebral tract to Purkinje cell of cerebral cortex. Climbing fibers and mossy fibers. Climbing fibers from inferior olivary nucleus through olivocerebral tract to Purkinje cell and cerebral cortex. Mossy fibers from other parts of the body via spino, vestibulo, reticulo, pneumocorticopontine, cerebral tract, glomerular cells of the cerebral cortex. Climbing fiber from inferior oligonucleus, through olivocerebral tract to Purkinje cell. Climbing fibers comes from inferior oligonucleus to Purkinje cells of cerebral cortex. Mossy fibers from other parts of the body via different tracts and goes to glomerular cells of cerebral cortex. Afferent connection, ventral spinocerebral tract, tectocerebral tract, and olivocerebral tract. Corticopontocerebral tract, dorsal spinocerebral tract, vestibulocerebral tract, and reticulocerebral tract, pneumocerebral tract, and fibers from sensory cranial nerve. These are afferents that appear into the cerebellum. Neurotransmitter in cerebellum, that is gamma-aminobutyric acid, inhibitory in action and present in Purkinje acetylate basket and Golgi cells. Glutamic is excitatory and it is excitatory in Granule cells. This is the Purkinje output, is inhibitory, goes into the cerebral nucleus, deep cerebral nucleus, and mossy fibers and Granule cells are excitatory to the deep cerebral nucleus. From deep cerebral nucleus, it will go to the brain stem and negative feedback loop. That is, Granule cells are excitatory to Golgi cells, and Golgi cells in return will have negative effect or depressive effect on Granule cells. Then feed-forward inhibition. Granule cells will excite the basket and actinate cell, which will inhibit the Purkinje cell, and Granule cells also have positive effect or stimulatory effect on Purkinje cell. Okay. In next class, we will do the rest part of the cerebellum. Okay. Thank you. कैसे देखेंगे जी? मेरा तो फोटो एक के बार आया, उसका नहीं आया।